And tonight we're picking up where we left off last night, reading The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. And yeah, let's keep on going. All right. Nature's Grand Hotel has its seasons like the others, as guests one by one pack, pay, and depart, and the seats at the table d'hote shrink pitifully at each succeeding meal, as the suites of rooms are closed, carpets taken up, and waiters sent away. Those boarders who are staying on and pension until next year's full reopening cannot help being somewhat affected by all these filterings and farewells, this eager discussion of plans, routes, and flush quarters, this daily shrinkage of steam and camaraderie. One gets unsettled, depressed, and inclined to be querulous. Why this craving for change? Why not to say is on quietly here like us and to be jolly? You don't know this is a hotel out of season, and what fun we have among ourselves, we fellows who remain and see the whole interesting year. All very true. No doubt the others always reply, we quite envy you, and some other year perhaps. But just now we have engagements, and there's a bus at the door. Our time is up. And so they depart with a smile and a nod, and we miss them and feel resentful. The rat was self-sufficing sort of animal, rooted to the land, and whoever went, he stayed still. He could not help noticing what was in the air and feeling some of its influence in his bones. It was difficult to settle down to anything seriously with all this flittering going on. Leaving the waterside where rushes stood thick and tall, and the steam was becoming sluggish and slow, he wandered countrywards, crossed a field or two of pasturage, already looking dusty and parched, and thrust it into the great sea of wheat, yellow and wavy and murmurous, full of quiet motion and small whisperings. Here he often loved to wander through the forest of stiff, strong stalks that carried their golden sky away over his head. A sky that was always dancing and shimmering, softly talking or swaying strongly to the passing wind and recovering itself with a toss and merry laugh. Here, too, he found many small animals, a society of complete in itself, leading to the full and busy lives, but always with a spare moment to gossip and exchange news with visitor. Today, however, though they were civil enough, the mice in the field harvest seemed to be preoccupied. Many were digging tunnels busily. Others gathered together in small groups, examined plans and drawings of small flats stated to be desirable and compact, and situated conveniently near the stores. Some were hauling out dusty trunks and dress baskets. Others were already elbow deep, packing their belongings, while still everywhere piles and bundles of wheat and oats, barley, beech, mast, and nuts lay about ready for transport. "Here's old Ratty," they cried as soon as they saw him. "Come and bear a hand, Rat, And don't stand idle about what sort of games are you up to, said the water rat severely. You know it isn't time to be thinking of winter quarters yet, by a long way. Oh, yes, we know that, explained the field mouse, rather shamefully. But it's always as well to be good in time, isn't it? Well, really, we must all get the furniture and baggage and stores moved out of this before those horrid machines begin clicking around the fields. And then, the best flats get picked up so quickly nowadays. And if you're late, you have to put up with anything. And they want such a lot of doing up before they fit into and to move again. Of course, we're all really early, and we know that, but we're only just making a start. Oh, brother, starts the rat. It's a splendid day. Come for a row or a stroll along the hedges or a picnic in the woods or something. Let's turn the page. Hello. Well, I think not today, thank you, replied the field mouse hurriedly. Perhaps some other day, when we've more time. And the rat, with a snort of contempt, swung round to go and tripped over the hat box and fell with an undignified remark. If people would be more careful. Hello, Elizabeth. This is called The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. If people would, I read to my son at night. Thank you very much for the light. I became uncool when he turned 8, and apparently the only way to be cool but read to your child is on YouTube. So, yeah, if you're a parent or reading Wind in the Willows. if If people would be more careful, said the field mouse, rather stiffly, and look where they're going, people wouldn't hurt themselves and forget themselves. Mind that old rat. You'd rather sit down somewhere. In an hour or two, we may be more free to attend to you. We won't be free, as you call it, much this side of Christmas. I can see that, resorted the rat grumpily. As he picked his way out of the field, he returned somewhat despondently to his river again, his faithful, steady-going old river, which never packed up, flitted, or went into the winter quarters. In the orchis which fringed in the bank, spied a swallow sitting presently. It was joined by another, and then a third, and the birds fidgeting restlessly on their burrow, talked together earnestly and low. What already, said the rat, strolling up to them. What's the hurry? I call it simply ridiculous. Oh, we're not off yet. That's what you mean, replied the first swallow. We're only making plans and arranging things, taking it over, What route we're talking about this year and when we'll stop and so on. That's half the fun. Fun, said the rat. Now that's just what I don't understand. If you've got to leave this pleasant place and find your friends who will miss you, and your snug home that you've just settled into, why, when you're in the hour strikes, I've no doubt you'll go bravely and face all the trouble and discomfort and the change and newness and make believe that you're not happy. But to want to talk about it or even think about it till you're ready and really need to. No, you understand naturally, said the second swallow. First, we feel a stirring within us, a sweet unrest. Then back come the recollection one by one, like homing pigeons. They flutter through our dreams at night, and they fly with us in our wheelings and circlings by day. We hunger to inquire of each other, to compare notes and assure ourselves that it's all was really true, as one by one the scents and sounds and names of long forgotten places come gradually back and beckon to us. Couldn't you stop on for just this year? Suggested the water rat wistfully. Well, I'll do our best and make you feel at home. You've no idea what good times we've had here while you are far away. I've tried stopping on one year, said the third swallow. I'd grown fond of a place that when the time came, I hung back and let the others go on without me. For a few weeks it was all well enough, but afterwards, oh, the weary length of nights, the shivering sunless days, and the air so clammy and chill, and not an insect in an acre of it. No, it was no good. My courage broke down, and on one cold, stormy night, I took wing and flying well inland on account of a strong easterly gales. It was snowing hard as I beat through the passes of the great mountains, and I had a stiff fight to win through, but never shall I forget the blissful feeling of the hot sun again on my back as it spread down to the lakes that lay so blue and placid below me, and the taste of my first fat insect that passed was like the bad dream. The future was all happy holiday as I moved southwards, week by week, easily, lazily, and lingering. Sorry. I dropped the phone. Long as I dared, but I always healing to the call. No, I had my warning. Never again did I ever think of disobedience. Ah, yes, the call of the south in the south, twittered the other two dreamily. Its songs, its hues, its radiant air. Oh, do you remember? And forgetting the rat, they slid into passionate reminiscence, while he listened fascinated, and his heart burned within him. In himself, too, he knew that it was a vibrating at last, that chord hither dormant and unsuspected, the mere chatter of the southern-bound birds. Their pale and second-hand reports had yet power to awaken this wild new sensation and thrill him through with what would be one moment of real thing working in him, one passionate touch of real southern sun, one waft of authentic odor. With closed eyes, he dared to dream a moment in full abandonment, and when he looked again, the river seemed stilly and chill, the green fields gray and lightless. Then his loyal heart seemed to cry out his weaker self for its treachery. Why do you ever come back then at all? He demanded of the swallows jealously. What do you find to attract you in this poor, drab little country? And do you think, said the first swallow, that the other's call is not for us too, in its due season, the call of lush meadow grass, wet orchards, warm insect-hunted ponds, of browsing cattle and haymaking, and the farm building clustering round the house of the perfect eaves? Do you suppose, asked the second one, that you are the only living thing that craves with a hungry longing to hear the cuckoo's note? In due time, said the third, we shall be homesick once more, for quite water lilies swaying in the surface of the English stream. All right, you guys, until tomorrow night, I hope you have sweet dreams, and thank you for joining.